You may have heard of students who did great in law school, graduated at the top of their class, and then went on to fail the bar exam. Or students who have great firm jobs lined up at these big corporate firms, and then they go on to fail the bar exam. And that may have you worried because if they don't pass the bar exam, you might think, how am I going to pass? If I didn't graduate at the top of my class, or if I don't have that great of a job lined up, what are my chances of passing if they failed? Well, a lot of the reason that these top students fail is because they don't write the kind of essay that they're expected to write for the bar exam. Oftentimes, firms or schools will send students to us and we'll review their essays, and honestly, it's usually the same mistake over and over again. Typically, they are writing law school essay answers in response to bar exam questions. That is something that you do not want to do. Bar exam questions are structured differently, and they're formatted differently, and they have a different tone than law school essay answers. So keep that in mind. You want to write a bar exam answer to a bar exam question. The good news is it's actually easier to write a bar exam essay answer than it is to write a law school essay answer. So it's an easier job, you just have to get in the mindset of doing it. So how exactly are bar exam essay answers different from law school essay answers? First, there's less issues to analyze on a bar exam question. Usually you'll have 2 to 3 issues, sometimes 4, sometimes a few more if they're just really short issues. But usually you're just going to have a few issues, and you're just supposed to talk about that issue, apply the law, and conclude. These issues don't typically spin out into sub-issues and sub-issues like they might on a law school essay answer. So in this way, the bar exam questions are actually a little bit easier to analyze. There's just a few issues to talk about. Second, the issues are clearer on bar exam essays. Typically, the call of the question will tell you exactly what to talk about and exactly what to address in your answer. Versus in law school questions, typically the call of the question just says discuss, and it's up to you to go through the facts and pick out all the issues. Next, you don't have to argue both sides in most bar exam essay answers. Sometimes the question will tell you to argue both sides, or sometimes you should argue both sides, but this is much rarer. In law school essay answers, you were expected to argue both sides. It became a big part of the analysis. But in bar exam questions, typically what they want you to do is just apply the rule to the facts so that you can arrive at a conclusion. So there's less arguing and more application. Next, the conclusion matters on bar exam essays. So in law school, for big issues, the conclusion probably didn't even matter. Your professor might have even said, I don't even give points for conclusion. I've heard that a lot because these bigger issues on law school essays tend not to have one right conclusion. So the quality of your analysis matters a lot more. On bar exam questions, typically there is a right answer. So your conclusion matters. You actually want to arrive at a conclusion. You don't want some kind of wishy-washy answer that doesn't provide a clear conclusion to the grader. Next, bar exam essay answers tend to be shorter than law school essay answers. Some of your law school essay answers might have been really long, a few pages. Bar exam essay answers are typically a couple paragraphs, depending on how fast you can type or write, but overall they're much shorter than law school essay answers.